Hi everybody, welcome to my brand new BookTube channel. This is SniderBeeBooks, and today I am doing the BookTube Newbie Tag. There are a couple of different versions of this tag floating around on BookTube, so I just picked the one that felt more like me and maybe is a little bit more get to know you and a little bit less serious. So let's get started. Question number 1 is, where are you joining us from? I am joining you from my home office in Burton, Michigan, which I'm probably about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour north of Detroit. And the story behind my home office is that, number 1, I am lucky enough to have a job that lets me work from home half the day, every day. And number 2, I'm also a writer. And this is where I do all of that fun stuff, which sort of explains all of the weird paper that you see behind me attached to the wall, which is entirely made of cork. So I feel very comfortable here. This is where I feel the most creative and I feel the most productive. And I'm looking forward to filming from here pretty much most of the time. Question number 2 is, why did you join BookTube? I joined BookTube because I really enjoy BookTube. I like watching BookTube videos. I've been doing so for a while now, and as much fun as I have watching the existing BookTubers, I still feel like I can't quite connect the way that I want to because of content. I don't read a lot of young adult fiction. I can understand why people do. Kind of what I want to do is just open the door a little bit wider on BookTube and maybe highlight some books that I feel are currently underrepresented, and maybe, you know, build a platform that other readers like me can connect with. Question number 3 is, what is the meaning behind your channel name? And there isn't really any deep meaning behind it. It is a play on my name, or at least my future name. I am engaged. And I have been known on other social platforms as SniderBee Style. So I just adapted that a little bit and became SniderBeeBooks. And that's really all there is to it. Question number 4 is, what types of books do you like to read or want to talk about? I read mostly adult contemporary fiction, particularly genre fiction like mystery, suspense, thriller, romance, maybe a little bit of sci-fi and fantasy and horror. So those are the things that I'm interested in, so they're definitely the things that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about what I read, I'm going to talk about what I know, and hopefully I can find an audience by doing so. Question number 5 is, who are your favorite authors? And currently the author that sticks out the most in my mind is Kristen Ashley. She primarily writes contemporary romance, most notably the Rock Chick series, which I think was 7 books. You either love Kristen Ashley or you don't love Kristen Ashley, because she has a very unique writing style, especially when it comes to dialogue. And it takes a while to catch on. It's like learning a different language almost. But once you do, it's quite the experience. Every single one of her books. The reason she is a favorite of mine is because she doesn't just write awesome heroes in her romance novels. She writes amazing heroines. These are women that are strong and capable and well-rounded, and quite frankly, the heroines of Kristen Ashley books are women that I would want to be friends with. And I think that it's important in romance because a lot of times some of the heroines, you don't really like them that much, but I can honestly say that's not a problem for Kristen Ashley books. Question number 6 is, what is the last book you read? And the last book that I finished was the second book in a trilogy, and the book was called Rhodey. It is written by C.M., and I believe her last name is pronounced Stunek, but it is a very intense and steamy romance, and it definitely pushes the envelope in contemporary romance. And I had read the original, or I had read the first book, Groupie, and liked it so much that I decided to read Rhodey. It was just released. It, of course, Groupie, Rhodey, it's about rock stars, right? It's the rock star trope. And book 1 was much stronger in my opinion than book 2, but book 2 definitely didn't turn me off from reading book 3, which I will do when it is released later this month. Question 7 is, what book are you currently reading? I just picked up this morning In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. And since I did just pick it up this morning, I'm not far enough into it to give you any sort of opinion at this time, but it seems very promising. Question number 8 is, what do you use as a bookmark? And the answer to question number 8 is anything nearby. My favorite bookmarks actually are Post-it notes. Believe it or not, because you can stick it to the page and then also leave it hanging out a little bit, and I don't know, you can write notes on it and stuff as well. But I also use note cards, like 3x5 note cards. I own currently one bookmark, and this bookmark, it's signed. It's a promotional bookmark that was sent with a signed book copy that I ordered, and it is currently the only official bookmark that I own. Maybe this book will become super popular and my signed bookmark will be worth billions. I don't know. But I do plan on using this in the manner in which it was intended. But Post-it notes, I find them fun. I don't know. I'm weird. This will not be the last time that you realize this. Question number 9 is, show us your TBR pile, and it's right here. It's a little bit heavy. I'm not going to pick it up because I tried that once, quite frankly, and I dropped books everywhere. 10 books in my TBR pile, and of course, In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware is right there on top with the Post-it note. That's right. I just dropped books all over the place again. The next question is, hardcover or paperback? And to be honest with you, right now, e-reader, ebook, simply because I'm a little bit short on space these days. I don't have a room that I can dedicate to book storage with walls of bookshelves and like I dream about. So right now I read a lot of ebooks. However, hardcovers, they look much, much better sitting on a shelf, absolutely. And they are usually designed with really interesting detail. Paperbacks, however, are also easier to read. So each has its pros and cons. It just depends on what sort of mood I'm in, I guess. If I want to look at a book, hardcover. If I want to carry a book around and try to read it, paperback. And if I don't have a lot of space, which is currently the case, then ebook. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? And this is a two-part answer because I first fell in love with books when my grandmother was babysitting me before I started grade school. So I was very young, and my mother had owned the entire series at that time of the Hardy Boys. Each book was about the size of a trade paperback, but they were in hardcover, and there was a whole line of them on one of my grandmother's shelves. And seeing those books and smelling those books, that's what first made me fall in love with books in general. But as far as reading them is concerned, because I couldn't at that time, Nancy Drew, The Babysitter's Club, and I'm probably really aging myself by saying those. And then an author that was also very popular when I was young was Judy Blume. And so those are the three things that really stick out for me when I remember my very early years in reading. I have no idea what number we're on, but the next question is, how did you discover BookTube? And I probably came across it the way that a lot of people do, which is entirely by accident. YouTube is a great way to suck all of the time out of your day. And watching videos, especially because I'm a writer, I do watch writing videos and videos made by other independent and self-published authors. And I think because writing and reading go hand in hand, that one of my suggested videos ended up being a BookTube video, and then it was like down the rabbit hole I went. And I don't think I've come out yet. The next question is what challenges I think I'll face with my own BookTube channel, and it's probably somehow based on time. I have a full-time job, I'm a fiance, I plan to be married by the end of the year, which means I have a lot of planning of things to do, and there's just a lot going on, so time for BookTube is going to be hard to come by. Mostly because in order to produce the content, there's a lot that you have to do beforehand, which is read books. We'll see how well I do. I don't like disappointing people, so the fact that I'm starting a BookTube channel and throwing myself out there for your judgment means that I'm going to try really hard to keep up with everything and to make this entertaining and to make sure that anyone who subscribes to my channel has a really good time. The last question on the BookTube Newbie Tag is where else can we find you? And right now I only have one answer to that, and that is on Twitter at SniderBeeBooks. Please feel free to follow me, tweet me, ask me questions, whatever you want to do on Twitter. I plan on having a bigger presence on other social media platforms as SniderBeeBooks, but I just haven't gotten there yet. We'll see. I would rather devote time to reading and making videos, but I will gladly participate if that's something that viewers expect from me. So that's a wrap on the BookTube Newbie Tag. Thank you so much for watching and stopping by. Please feel free to like and comment, and if you did like what you saw, subscribe. I will be making my way through BookTube under this new name of mine, under this new channel name of mine, and subscribing to a lot of you in the very near future, and I'm really looking forward to starting some discussions about great books. Thanks, guys.